The year was 1453, and the walls of Constantinople, which had stood for over 1,000 years, were about to face their ultimate test. The Byzantine Empire, once a dominant force, had been reduced to a shadow of its former glory, its territory now limited to the grand capital itself and a few scattered holdings. The city stood as the last bastion of Christian rule in the east, an isolated island surrounded by the rising power of the Ottoman Empire. For decades, the Ottomans had been expanding their influence, and now, under the leadership of Sultan Mehmed II, they were ready to strike the final blow. Constantinople was more than just a city, it was the spiritual and political heart of an empire that traced its lineage to Rome. It had repelled numerous invasions before, thanks to its formidable triple-layered walls and its strategic location on the Bosporus. However, the Byzantine Empire had been weakened by years of infighting, economic decline, and the betrayal of supposed allies. By the mid-15th century, the once mighty empire had little left to defend itself apart from the determination of Emperor Constantine XI and his vastly outnumbered forces. Sultan Mehmed II, a brilliant strategist and an ambitious ruler, saw Constantinople as the key to his vision of a vast and unified Islamic empire. He assembled an army of nearly 100,000 men, including elite janissaries, battle-hardened cavalry, and mercenaries from across the empire. But his most powerful weapon was his massive artillery, particularly the Great Bombard, a cannon so large that it could fire stone projectiles weighing hundreds of pounds, capable of shattering even the strongest fortifications. On April 6, 1453, the Ottoman siege began. The massive cannons roared, sending shockwaves through the city, battering its ancient walls day and night. The defenders, numbering only around 7,000, including a contingent of Genoese allies led by the valiant Giovanni Giustiniani, fought with unmatched courage. Despite their resolve, they faced an overwhelming enemy force with superior firepower. For weeks, the Byzantines repaired breaches, repelled attacks, and held the walls, but the relentless bombardment took its toll. The people of Constantinople, knowing that defeat was near, sought refuge in their faith. The Grand Hagia Sophia, the most magnificent church of Christendom, became a sanctuary of desperate prayers and solemn chants. Emperor Constantine XI, unwilling to surrender, took up arms himself, rallying his men for one final stand. On the night of May 28, the city held what would be its last Christian service, a gathering of Greeks, Latins, and others, unified in the face of impending doom. At dawn on May 29, the final assault began. Mehmed II ordered his troops forward in waves. The initial charges were repelled, but exhaustion and sheer numbers began to tip the balance. The Janissaries, the Sultan's elite troops, led a decisive charge through a small but critical breach in the walls. Chaos erupted as Ottoman forces poured into the city. Emperor Constantine XI, refusing to flee, cast off his imperial robes and fought as a common soldier until he was lost in the fray, his body never to be found. The city, once the greatest jewel of Christendom, fell to the Ottomans. The conquerors flooded the streets, and looting ensued. Hagia Sophia, once the greatest church in the Christian world, became an imperial mosque, marking the symbolic transformation of the city. Mehmed II, now known as Mehmed the Conqueror, made his grand entrance into Constantinople, riding through its broken gates. He declared the city the new capital of his empire and allowed it to be rebuilt as a thriving center of Islamic culture and trade. Despite the initial destruction, the city would rise again as Istanbul, becoming one of the greatest cities in the world. The fall of Constantinople sent shockwaves throughout Europe. The old Byzantine Empire was no more, and the Ottoman Empire emerged as a dominant force in global history. The conquest marked the true end of the Middle Ages and the beginning of a new era. Scholars fled to the West, bringing with them knowledge and texts that helped spark the Renaissance. Trade routes were disrupted, prompting European explorers to seek new paths to Asia, leading to the Age of Exploration. The echoes of that fateful day in May 1453 still resonate in history, a testament to the power struggles that shaped the destiny of civilizations. The fall of Constantinople was not just the end of an empire, it was the dawn of a new world.